Welcome to this week's Wine Down Wednesday with Coach Avery live at Country Heritage Winery, downtown Fort Wayne's location. Today, Coach Avery is joined by Fort Wayne FC goalie Shafique Wilson and defender AJ Cousins. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Coach,
Yes.
I'm going to start today off with something that's on everyone's mind, and I'm sure you've heard this all week long. We're in Season 3, and Fort Wayne FC leads the Valley Division with a 6-0-2 record, the second largest division lead in USL2. And we're sitting at the top with 20 points. How are you feeling about right now?
Obviously, I'd rather be in our spot than in other spots, but I'm also one that's tried very hard not to get too far ahead of myself. And I've been trying very hard. The guys can probably attest to keep them grounded as well. The point total is certainly in our favor, but we've also played 2 more games than our closest opponent in Toledo. So there's a couple games that they have in hand. But we're in a good spot, and if we can just keep taking it day by day and growing with every practice and then every game, I think we're going to be happy with where we end up. But if we get too far ahead of ourselves, we may be setting ourselves up for a little bit of a stumble, and we're trying to avoid that. So I get it, maybe a little bit cautiously optimistic, but maybe the coach in me as I stay a little bit paranoid and keep an eye over my shoulder all the time because I know people are chasing us. So.
Exactly, and I can tell you right now from the media standpoint, they're all excited. Everybody's talking about Fort Wayne FC this season. It seems we're on the cusp of the World Cup. I think that's still in the air around. People are really excited. I think we're seeing it in the stands from all the fans and all the people coming out, so super excited about this season. After last week's 4-0 win over Buffalo, the club increased its shutout streak to 385 minutes with 4 in a row and now has the second best defense of 122 teams in the USL2 league. What about this season's defense is different than what we've seen from the past from Fort Wayne FC?
Yeah, I'm not so sure that it's different as much as it is just a continuation. I mean, we've been building, and so we play a certain style, and I think one of the reasons why we've been so stingy and not giving away a lot of chances is because we have the ball a lot. And so when we have the ball, the other team doesn't, and therefore it's hard for them to create chances. Obviously, we have good defenders. They're good athletes. They're organized. And we work very hard at our defensive shape. We have good goalkeepers. There's pieces in front of the goal that are helping us protect it. But ultimately, it's about the way that we try and play. We push other teams back because of our possession. And so if they're going to get behind us, it's probably going to be on a counterattack, and it's probably going to be off of a mistake that we've created for ourselves. And if we look back at the chances we have given away, they're almost self-imposed. Like on Sunday, I think we created all the best chances in the game for both teams. And so we're trying to eliminate some of those. But it's also part of the risk of trying to play the way that we play. Is if you're going to build, a mistake might happen. And so we have to live with that a little bit, but I'll also try to eliminate it. But I think that's really been the key to it, is the more we have the ball, the less they have the ball. And so it just goes to, if we can keep it and then create chances going forward, the goals against kind of statistic is going to take care of itself.
Chef, on Sunday, we saw back-to-back saves in the first half, which helped keep FC Buffalo scoreless in this match, and continuing to allow no goals in June so far between both you and Ari in the goal. What sort of pressure do you feel going into these matches?
Truthfully, none. And that's just an attestament to the preparation that we put in every day in the morning, hard training sessions. So really, whenever we're on the field for our games, we've seen everything that happens in front of us. So we're professionals. We're prepared for anything that an opposition can throw at us. So really, yeah, for me at least, there's no pressure going into these games because I know these guys, I know what we're capable of, and really they take care of me. They take care of me, so I'm very confident in what I have in front of me. So it makes my job a lot easier.
That's awesome. What do you feel is attributing to the success that we're seeing on the field?
Yeah, so I mean, like what Coach said is we're kind of our own worst enemy in that we can't get on ourselves. These teams, they're coming to us and they know what kind of quality that we bring to the field. So they're kind of expecting us to dictate the pace of the game and things like that. So when we can't really get on top of ourselves to give away these sorts of chances. So I think that's part of the reason that we're seeing so much success is we're doing a good job of taking care of the ball and just limiting the chances that we give to the opponents. And I think we've done a good job of that. I know Coach didn't believe that for the Buffalo game. We did give away a lot of chances for them, but to come out of the game with keeping them scoreless, that just shows the commitment and the heart that we show. So.
Chef, while we're talking to you, why don't you tell the fans kind of a little bit about your journey to Fort Wayne and how you got here?
So my journey to Fort Wayne, it's a 6-hour drive south from my hometown in Toronto, Canada. But soccer players, we take a lot of steps throughout our career. Like AJ, I started my collegiate career in Florida. And then I moved over to Albany, which is in upstate New York. So I compete there now. And really, we were supposed to have, we do still have 3 players. We have 3 players from my school at Albany that are playing here with us. And really, just that came from Coach Mike watching our games and showing some interest in us and giving us contact. I saw that this is a good program. I actually went to school with Tom in my first year. So I connected with him, and he said, he was here last year, and he said it's a great place to be. And so really I could tell that it was a good place to be at. It's close enough to home where my parents can come visit and things like that. So I really like it here. Yeah.
We're glad to have you. AJ, fans want to know more about you. They want to know more about the journey to get you to Fort Wayne. So why don't you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, my name is AJ. I was born in Chicago, but I actually was raised in Hawaii. So I'm a little island boy, I like to surf, skate, all that stuff, all that island stuff that you could think of.
Hard to do in Fort Wayne.
It's hard. It's my first time being landlocked in a place besides Chicago. But was raised out there, started my soccer career in Hawaii. My mom was my first coach. Is still my hardest coach probably to this day.
That's how it goes.
But yeah, my love for the game probably started on the island. From there, took me around the world, to be honest. I'm thankful for that. Thankful for the opportunities that I got through the game. From there, I went to the Philadelphia Union Academy. I stayed in residency, so it's like 7-8 guys in one house. We have a house mom. She cooks for us, does our laundry if we need it.
Don't get any ideas.
All the stuff that, parent away from a parent would do. They would do that for us. So I went there for all of high school. And then from there, like Chef said, I went to collegiate in FIU, which is in Miami in Florida. And now I go to school in Villanova in Philly.
So both these guys are kind of an example, really, because when I travel around in the fall and I watch college games, and look, I coached in college for almost 30 years, and so all of their coaches are friends of mine, connections. And so I start creating a database and a list, and then whether I reach out about them or somebody reaches out to me about them, and I start to do my own research. And so in AJ's case, his assistant coach reached out to me initially. I went back to my database and saw games that I watched with him and realized that he would be a great fit for us. He's a good player. I started to do my homework. I've got a lot of connections in the Philadelphia Union Academy. Called them to find out, make sure he's a good guy. I know it's easy to see whether he's a good player, but is he the right kind of fit as a person? And then they come, and then I'm actually surprised in our team this year, because we just didn't realize it, but there's all these different interconnections that when they were both in college in Florida, they ran across each other. Yeah. Soccer's a small world, and it gets even smaller. And so that kind of stuff, I think, is made this season kind of fun, because there's a lot of those little paths that had already crossed prior to guys that had got here that I didn't even know about.
That's awesome. And did either of you know that you both were coming to Fort Wayne, or how did you find out when you got here, or how did that happen?
Well, yeah, I saw he was coming because they when I was going through Fort Wayne Instagram, I saw that they posted AJ Cousins, and I was like, I know that light-skinned guy. So I actually reached out to him. I'm like, so Fort Wayne, huh? And he's like, yes, sir. So that's how I figured it out, that he was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I found out the same way, to be honest. I was posted, and then he got posted later. So I was like, okay, cool. Because I didn't know anybody else that they posted, but once I saw Shaf, I was like, okay, at least I know one person.
Yeah, and the beauty of it to me too is to go just a little deeper is obviously part of why we're here is because we're trying to win as many games as we can. The club gives us incredible resources, and we're trying to utilize those resources to be as successful on the field as we can. But that's not really the point of why I'm here, and a lot of times while they're here. It's really about the relationships that we make and the people that we become along the way. And so you get guys like this who maybe have crossed paths before, but they're developing a deeper friendship. We have other guys that you see, because I'm living in the apartments over with these guys, which is a whole nother episode. We'll get into that someday. And you see these, you see these guys, you know, they're joined at the hip. They become lifelong friends that didn't know each other before they got here. And I think that's really the coolest part of this, is that we get a chance to go through these experiences and the competition and the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into a season trying to chase something, and you get to do it together. And then at the end of it, when we go our own separate ways, we still have each other to always lean on. No matter where they go, we're always going to be connected, and we're always going to be friends, and we're always going to help each other. And so that's the beautiful part of all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's great. And then did you guys realize that DeMarcus Beasley was an owner of Fort Wayne FC and that you would be playing for a World Cup Hall of Famer?
Well, I think that was one of Coach's selling points that he put out there to us. So.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I'm good at my job,
yes.
you know what I mean? Like,
Put that
yeah,
in there.
yeah.
That's awesome.
But did DeMarcus Beasley tell you that I was going to be coaching here? That's really the
That's
bigger
the-
question. That's
the kicker.
that's really the bigger
That's what
question.
it is,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
But both of them together are incredible. So I hope you guys feel that from being here. We're halfway through the season. I know from what I see from the sidelines is this brotherhood, and I say this every season, but honestly, when you go back and watch some of the videos and the different reels after a game and see when somebody scores, when somebody does something, and you guys all come together,
Absolutely.
that's Fort Wayne FC,
Yeah.
and that's who we are, and that's
Yeah.
how that's how we are in our community. That's how we want to be perceived, and you guys are doing a great job of showing that. So I appreciate that.
Be interesting if I could ask, because you guys, since Lori brought that up, I feel like, you guys will know, but I feel like we probably spend more time talking about the team bonding, community stuff than most teams in the summer do. Do you think that's true?
I think,
would say
I
so.
think it's very true. Yeah. I think that sometimes that's sort of an undervalued kind of point to a team is like how close like me and AJ can be. So how hard we'll fight for each other on the field is always like something that I think could be overlooked in a team that's, you know, like, oh, we're just looking to win a championship, and we're not here for those other reasons that I feel are as important as what the soccer is. So yeah, I do think so.
And again, this is my own, obviously, philosophy, because I bring it to you guys as the coach. But I think, you know, the tighter we become, obviously, the harder we'll fight for each other, the harder we are to get beat. But I think really, again, it's kind of the point of it all.
Right.
You know, I think that if we can become the best version of ourselves, that means that we're really connected. You know, and it's not just me telling you something, it's like you guys informing me as much as I'm informing you. I feel like I learn as much from you guys as you might from us.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, some new music, some skateboard tricks that I was a skater back in the day too. I'm a West Coast guy, you know what I mean? And we can go hit up after this is done. But I think those things are really, really important. And I do like to bring it up here because it is such an important part of who we are as a club. You know, how we treat each other, how we value each other. I think the fans see that.
Yeah.
And I think that it helps them gravitate towards the team as well, and how we connect with the community as well. It's just one big happy family is what we're trying to be.
I think just to go off of that, like, you made sure from day one that was a point, to have a brotherhood, to have a place where we could, you know, go away from all the negative stuff from around the world and just, you know, really just chill with my brothers.
Yeah,
you know?
he made that point from day zero when he was bringing us to this point,
That's-
right?
yeah,
when
that's
he
facts,
was when
that's
he's
facts.
recruiting us,
Day
he's not
zero.
just looking at what kind of player we are. I mean, I know that's important to you, but
Yeah.
he's looking at what kind of person we are. Like, Coach Mike spent like hours with me on the phone, speaking to me about like what this club has to offer, and then again what I have to offer to the club. Right?
Let's be honest though. Anybody that talks to you spends hours doing it.
No, it's true.
That's not me.
Exactly.
Okay, just so we're clear. Yeah.
It's true. He makes a point.
No, but I think, Mike, you do a tremendous job of, we set this vision and goals, all of us at the beginning when we started this club, and Mike took it from there and grew it even more so. And now we see the players and what you guys bring to that. And I was talking today about our new TikTok platform. I'm going to bring that up because I'm pretty impressed. Yeah. I'm just and I literally turned that loose. And
some more content coming soon. Don't worry.
Shout out Frenchie.
Well, I'm telling you, Frenchie and Tommy, I was like, whoa. He sold me. Yeah. He did sell me, and Frenchie did a fabulous job. And everybody, I love it that you guys are doing this, and that's your product per se. That's you guys showing this is Fort Wayne FC, and what better way for the fans to get to know you guys better, and people to really see what you do in your spare time, what you do here, who you are as people. Not just on the field.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's really important for the fans, is to kind of get like a behind the scenes view of like, not just these footballers, but these kids, these athletes, these people. So I think that's really good. That's something that we started that I think is a really good thing. So yeah.
Someone's gonna have to show me what this TikTok thing is all about, because I've never seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Your team owns it, so just remember your team owns it.
All I'm saying is that.
Download the app on your
55
phone.
Years old, and like Facebook's about the extent of my my platform.
I think the TikTok is cool because you talk about all the time personality and character. Yeah. We're people outside the soccer field, so I think it's cool to show people like us.
It gives us a spot for it to really come out.
I don't think people had heard Adam's Irish accent until our TikTok video. I was like, oh my God, I've known him for 2 years. I didn't know his little accent until today.
Yeah.
And he goes, do I have to use my American accent, or can I speak normally?
I was laughing. Wow. So still kind of on this subject, but you're both new to this year's roster. So far, I'd like each of you to tell me what's been your best Fort Wayne FC moment.
You go first.
Honestly, my best Fort Wayne moment had to be the first game of the season, just because I had no idea what the atmosphere was going to be like. I had no idea that the fan base was such, basically the 12th man, pretty much here in Fort Wayne. So it was really cool to see that, and experience that. And really, Fort Wayne really welcomed me into the team, so it was cool to see, all those people come out.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, and mine is pretty easy, actually. As some people know, I had a little bit of a complication at home that kept me away from the team for just over a week, I think, a week and a half. Mm-hmm. And while I was home, actually, coach had sent me a picture of the team holding up my jersey. So like that has to be definitely like that was really special for me to see that.
That's on the front of our website.
Yeah. So that is definitely my number one moment. Yeah.
And mine come almost once a week. So when we meet off the field, like we'll meet over in the classroom at the clubhouse, video meetings or pregame meetings, and we try and take the time whenever we get away together off the field, and we put the guys in what we call a hot seat. And so one guy goes every time, and they answer a series of questions, and it's really just designed to let us get to know that person better. And those are my moments every time. I learn something new about the guys. I learn not only kind of where they're from and what drives them and what motivates them, but there's always just one little throwaway line that you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea about that. It helps me understand them a little bit better, helps me understand myself a little bit better, brings us all a little bit closer together. Those moments to me are really valuable, and so I look forward to those opportunities. And of course, the games and the goals and the wins and all that stuff is exciting, but those memories kind of seem to fade, but the interpersonal ones stick with me.
I was going to say, I think for me, mine is, first of all, when they walk through that tunnel and that music and your heart's racing. Mine still races after 3 years, just telling you. But I still get that little tear in my eye, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry here. Oh no. But it's also at the end, the autographs with the fans and the kids. And we've seen that grow and grow with every game. And this year, they're going to break that fence down. I know this year, but they barrel to that, and they're so excited. And they're knowing you guys by names, and they're saying different names. Am I going to see so and so? And I think when you walked out, did you have the little boy asking you about Messi?
Of course, Messi or Ronaldo. I hear it every game, and every game I tell him Messi, and he has the same face of disappointment. He doesn't acknowledge me after, but he always forgets that I answer Messi all the time.
Well, he asked me, and I said Messi, and he was the ball retriever on the other side, and I'm standing over there, and he looked at me, and he goes, I guess Messi's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, yeah. But awesome. But I really appreciate you guys doing that because, again, that helps us as a brand. That helps you guys grow. That helps all of us as people. And that's really who Fort Wayne FC is, again. We love our fan base. We're about community, bringing everybody together through the game.
Exactly. And we all started out as those kids, right? So it just goes to show you that we all started from that point. And we want these kids to see that there's a pathway to get to where we are and even beyond, right? So the only thing that we can do as players is just afford them our experience and like what we've done and show them that there's ways to achieve what they want to achieve. So yeah, I'm glad that we can provide that for the kids and everybody else who's watching,
That's awesome. Mike?
Yes.
Any words of wisdom before we go into Sunday? Because we know
there's a lot of them.
There's some brouhaha going around that we could clinch this up Sunday, maybe possibility. Do you think of it that way or not?
I don't. I'm like, again, I say it all the time. I sound like a broken record, and then I realize when I say actually broken record, they don't even know what I mean. It's a reference that they don't even know. We should actually have these records.
Heard that from my parents.
But all of the different permutations and the stats, and if this happens and that happens, and magic numbers and all that stuff. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not naive that we're in a favorable position, but I really all I'm thinking about is the next practice session, and then the next one after that, and then we'll get to the next game when that day arrives, and we'll try and take care of that. And I think if we can really just stay focused on what's right in front of us, I'm not trying to not jinx something, or you know what I mean. I'm not trying to be superstitious. It's just how I have to do it as a process. I just have to do what's right in front of me. And I just try and help to keep them that way too, because if we start looking too far down the road, something's going to sneak up that we should have paid attention to. And so, if that happens on Sunday, I think somebody has to lose and we have to win or something like that. But I do know this, is that if we win the next 4 games that we have, we're going to be in a good spot, right? And so, and if we don't win all 4 and we win 3 of the 4, we're still going to be in a good spot, right? And so we put ourselves in a favorable position to get what we want. The first goal is to qualify for the playoffs. The second goal would be to win the division. And then the third goal would be to do well in the playoffs and take it step by step. And so we're on the right path for it.
Definitely. Well, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming to Fort Wayne FC. Thank you guys for listening to everything Mike said.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's it for this week's Wind Down Wednesday with Coach Mike
What's
Avery.
The celebration we would do in
our
Canada,
celebration.
you'd smash us over your head, but we're not going to do that.
Absolutely.
So, in Hawaii, is there a special one, or just be aloha, or like a?
Give us something.
Auf Wiedersehen? Oh, that's
No.
German.
But cheers. We'll go
Salud,
with cheers.
salud,
Yeah,
salud.
Cheers. Here's to Sunday.
Here's to Sunday. I want to remind everybody, Sunday, June 25th, we'll be at Bishop Darcy Stadium, 5 p.m. kickoff, 4 p.m. gates open. And Fort Wayne's going to battle it out and hold on to that top spot. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's go.